There's been a gradual accumulation of research over the last few years around a simple but profoundly powerful idea that the workplace matters. Now, the workplace, I think, is something that CEOs and senior executives take for granted. It's just the place where we work. But that completely misses the point that the workplace is where business gets results. Now, if you take that as the simple, powerful idea, then the workplace itself, how people work, where they work, when they work, can have a profound impact on the bottom line.
For me, it's about giving your workforce choices about where, when, and how they get their work done. It's time to stop trying to control people. In fact, I think we should get rid of management completely. I really mean that. It's a matter of unleashing human potential. Most organizations make very weak or inappropriate use of human talent. And with the well-educated workforce that we've got today, it's a matter of getting people focusing on the end result. Go over that hill, climb that hill, and figure out how to get there yourself. And it works far better, it's far more efficient, and it gets people engaged. When people make choices, they own the results that they produce. And when they're not making the choices, they don't own the results.
There's no doubt that the workplace is changing. For about 20 years, there have been questions about teleworking, home working. You have had sales executives on the road, people working in Wi-Fi powered coffee shops. So what should CEOs be asking? Should we or shouldn't we accelerate the drive towards a mobile workplace?
Recognize that the employees have already left the building. This isn't about whether it's going to happen. It's not about when it's going to happen. It already happened. And so what a lot of the big companies are realizing is that they weren't intentional about it. They just let it happen rather than make it happen. And when you do that, you leave a lot on the table, you take on a lot of risks, and you don't achieve the results that you would have if you'd been intentional about it. And if you want to win in the years ahead, we've been looking at costs for the last 3, 4, 5 years, but that pendulum has swung now, and we're back to attention to hiring and retaining the best people. And the only way you're going to do that is to give them an environment that they want to work in. And I said environments that they want to work in. It's got to be flexible. It's all about flexibility.
The natural upshot of this idea that we should intentionally connect how we design and how we inhabit our workplace is that we should also intentionally connect the 21st century workplace with how the 21st century business gets results.
I think the biggest idea is to connect the workplace to the objectives of an organization, so that one's not actually dealing with mythical responses, but one's actually dealing with real life situations. And it's really important to stay on top of those. Those are a changing, shifting set of sands. And what we're really trying to do is to create very relevant current situations that actually look out into the future and anticipate the future.
If the workplace is directly connected with increasing effectiveness and productivity, then I'm happy to invest in it. As a CEO, I'm happy to invest in a better, more productive workplace. But what does that look like? What am I buying?
What you're doing is you're buying the workplace experience of your employees. You're creating an environment in which they really want to come to work, as opposed to working somewhere else. You're buying an experience that is adaptable to the vagaries of business, that moves as the business moves. It accepts different combinations of people. It anticipates different paradigms of work. It anticipates different speeds and needs of response. So you're getting something that's essentially very productive, very flexible, and actually these days very cost effective.
One of the things that's opened up the possibilities of exploring different kinds of workplace is research and science. We've got much better at studying how we actually work. We've done amazing surveys, we've done amazing observations, tons of fantastic interviews. But do we really need to do all this all over again every single time we look at our own organizations? Can't we just find one best practice and then just install that?
The big thing that we work with a lot of our clients on, it's not one solution, it's what's right for you. What can work, but look at all the different factors that come into that and look at what tools you have, what partners you have. Experiment. A number of years ago, I did a presentation. We talked about how we're able to help clients, locate all of their excess space, within the building. If they have 10% unoccupied space, that's a lot. You now narrow it down. What do you do with that? And that becomes great experiment space. You make lounges, make team spaces, do different things with that. Go ahead and turn some places into flex. So we're starting to see that become more mainstream in what people are doing. And it's a uniqueness, the way in which you attract people, the way in which you are able to retain, and the efficiencies, that actually really comes into the corporate workplace area. So it's much more than, what's on the menu. It's much more about how you're working with the rest of the organization, becoming an integral part of the organization, integrating very closely with HR and with IT.
So what is the one thing the CEO needs to do to really get the ball rolling on workplace strategies?
That's right on question. It's very good, because it is effectively, I'm questioning whether they should do something apart from putting forward their vision for the company and be open to have these type of workplace crafters to really address that type of problem. They have to articulate their problem. And I know C-suite is not very much used to doing that. And that's probably one of the things that modern FM managers and real estate managers should be crafted to do, to lure them to pronounce the problem that they really have, so you can get to work, and then you can come back with the solutions that resonate with them.
So ultimately, what does the CEO need to do about the workplace? What's the decision that the CEO has to take?
Boards and CEOs have to figure out how they're going to change for the future, because if they don't, they're going to get left behind. The corporations are going to fail. Not fail, but they're going to have trouble. They're not going to be able to retain the employees. They're not going to be able to have a better workplace, have happy employees, and they're going to really miss the big piece of what the future is going to bring. And these young kids that are coming up, and I shouldn't call them kids, but they, to me, at my age and the number of years I've been there, they are children to me. And they love change, and they're part of that process. And so CEOs and board members have to realize that.
So I guess this is the challenge that I throw down to you as CEOs, as senior executives exploring workplace strategy. How much change are you prepared to embrace? If you'd like to see the full-length interviews that went into making up this short film, go to leadership.fm/we and type in your email address. Do it now.